Corporate nightmares. You're fired.
Oh, yeah. Welcome back to the Go Getters podcast. We're doing an internal cast today. Corporate nightmares, I think, is what we're settling with on the title for these. You guys are going to see them every couple of weeks. We're just going to touch bases, talk, get a little review, recap, I guess you could say, what we've been doing, what's been going on, everything behind the scenes. I think we got a lot to talk about today. How you feeling, brother?
I'm feeling great, man. You know me, bro. Got a lot of cool stuff going on, though, man. Got a lot of cool stuff going on. We got some really, really, really crazy people lined up to be on this podcast. We'll give you guys some hints throughout the podcast.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
We got it. We got the Ocean Man maybe coming on pretty soon. I'm going to leave you guys up to figure that one out yourself. It's like, guess that Pokemon.
Who's that Pokemon? But in all serious note, though, we have a 4K high-budget film production camera coming in within the next week. So you guys know once we do that, we're going to have videos crazy on YouTube. That's when we're going to start pumping out the video content. But we wanted to know what you guys thought about the YouTube versus, say, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all the different platforms. What, works best for you guys. I wish we were like live streaming this, like you can kind of like get a feed or whatever. That's the best part about live streaming. But we want to know all these things, like what platforms would be best to watch on, because we will be on all these all platforms soon. But specifically, Apple Podcasts will be on Spotify. Obviously, we'll be staying on YouTube. That's where the majority of the video content will be coming from. Also, we'll be diving into clips pretty soon. That's just all. Once this camera gets in, we get a little technically sound with it. We know how to use it. But we'll be on TikTok as well, posting clips. You know what I mean? That's going to be dope pretty soon.
Instagram Reels.
Yeah, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts. But we'll be on YouTube probably posting bigger clips as well. Like we'll say probably like 10 to a half hour. We'll get a feel for it. We'll see how we like it. Like
podcast highlights.
Yeah. Highlights, good stories, once we get a little bit better with the editing of the behind the scenes, like just these little clips and episodes, because that's a whole different ball game compared to like what we're used to already. So we got to get a lot more technically sound with that as well. But I think we got a lot of big things coming.
Free game, bro.
Touch on. Yeah,
free game. Canon, we're getting a Canon HFG50.
Yeah.
The Vixia. Canon Vixia HFG50 camera.
Yeah, we
which
got
is
it from
a dope camcorder.
For the steel. Shout out, what was her name? Like Redna or something?
Probably leave her out of the
Shout out there.
Don't name drop.
But
yeah, we're gonna have some. We're gonna have like the video podcast as a funnel. So we'll have the entire podcast uploaded on YouTube. Maybe we'll get it on Spotify too if we can finesse that somehow.
Yeah.
And then with that, we'll be able to use like highlight videos, like things that are really interesting that we specifically talked about with whoever. And we'll post directly those clips to YouTube and stuff like that, which will be really cool, really interesting. It'll be another way for us to like show people what we're talking about, what our vibe is, And then we're going to continue to use a lot of those interesting clips, funny clips, informative clips, and we're going to post those on TikTok. We're going to post those on Instagram Reels, and we might even do some other types of content. Like we might do some fitness content, stuff like that, which would be really cool. And man, it's never ended. No limit to this, bro.
Yeah, no. Everything that keeps happening to us, it only builds like another pillar of what is possible for this brand and like what's possible for the future of our podcast. Obviously, like you were saying, it starts with the funnel of the podcast. Hold on one second. I'm trying to plug my computer back in. It all starts with the podcast, but there's so many things that can be done with that, and there's so many interests and like other passions we have as well that we can't wait to hopefully dive into. But one big thing I wanted to touch on was the possibility of merch coming pretty soon. Accessories, maybe shirts, hoodies. We want to know what you guys think about that as well, because I don't know, that's kind of big to us. We've been talking about that a lot behind the scenes. We're trying to make it perfect. We're trying to do it right. We're not just trying to give you guys shitty quality. It's very easy to drop ship some t-shirts, get them screen printed or whatever, but we want to do it the legitimate way, like do it right, do it, the first time. We want to give you guys a product in every aspect of the Go-Getters that means to us, or it's a better way of putting it. We want everything to be perfect over here. We're not taking no cheap, easy way out, not even with the podcast. We jumped right into it to get the ball rolling, but we got a lot of things operating behind the scenes that I think you guys would be very interested to see what we got going on, especially on the merch side. That's probably coming seriously soon.
Yeah, we're trying to connect with these cats, man. We're legitimately trying to build like a crazy, crazy, crazy community of go-getters starting in this area, because there's a lot of them, and we're trying to bring we're trying to give those people a voice and give those people another platform to show to showcase their journey and what they're about. We even got some crazy stuff where we might be going to a youth football camp pretty soon, where we might go touch base with some of those athletes, see what they got, and talk to some of the best athletes that we could find. And we have some professional athletes that we're trying to talk to too. Like we're talking, UFC guys.
Yeah.
We're talking NFL guys.
Got a couple NFL players from the city coming up soon.
Yeah.
A few of them possible.
We're working on them.
Yeah.
Just stay tuned.
Got
Trust
some
the
athletes
process.
coming for you guys. Shout out Tyler. I know you were just talking about that.
Yeah, Tyler Yellen. And we're trying to connect. Oh, PGA too.
Ooh,
That's dope.
yeah.
So a golf guy. We
Yeah.
just got connected with a professional golfer too. And lightly though. Just stay tuned. Like
Yeah.
let me do my magic. So
We got a lot of athletic connections over here. We know a lot of the people that watch this are former or current, athletes that we might have known from high school. They're still doing it, still killing it. I know a lot of people that watch this are in tune with the whole athletic side of things. So we got a lot of shit like that coming out for you guys as well. I believe Dame's giving us like sideline passes to that event too.
Yeah,
So like that'll be
that's
pretty
really
cool.
cool.
We'll be on the sideline. We'll be connecting with some of the really cool coaches in the area. We'll be connecting with some of the kids. Maybe we'll be, talking to the youth. I don't know. I kind of wanted to ask you guys maybe a cool way that you think we can incorporate ourselves into that. Maybe we could do an interview with like a kid that shows out. Like let us know what you think about that. Think it'd be a cool idea. But yeah, we got that coming up fairly soon, July 9th, I believe. But I guess that leads me into this other thing, too, coming up very soon. We also wanted to know what you guys thought about maybe a potential 4th of July, like X kind of UFC podcast, like a stream like where we'll watch it, maybe kind of like break down the fights, but we'll still like do it podcast style. Like we'll be having fun, just cracking jokes, maybe with a few friends. We'll see how it goes, but we also wanted to know what you guys thought about that as well, because that's some other cool ways to branch off and do different styles of podcasts that we have coming out pretty soon.
That would be dope. It'd be a cool like experience as well if we have that camera set up for that. So like you
Yeah.
could see like the big reactions and knockouts to the crazy submissions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So like that would be really cool. Yeah, we're trying to connect in any way we could though, man. Like show love, Like the Go-Getters, we're really investing in this thing, bro.
Yeah.
Like we got some real skin in the game here
We're
at
all
the
in
Go-Getters.
now,
So
yeah.
just know we're here for the marathon, not the sprint.
Yeah.
Feel me?
But we want to know specifically like what you guys want to see. Like we want to know, I guess, the platforms that make most sense for y'all. Like what times, what days, maybe, change the schedule
That's
up.
true, too.
Whatever works better for
Yeah.
you guys. You know what I mean? Right now we're locked in basically Thursdays every single week at 1 p.m. EST. But that could always change, whatever works better for like the algorithm, whatever works better for the schedule, whatever works better just for YouTube in general, pushing our content, whatever helps us. It's we're just trying to see like what works. We're testing a lot of different things out. We're getting very experimental. Believe me, like how many things have we tried behind the scenes to get like video for this podcast? Like how many weeks have we been trying?
We've been trying to do phones, but then the storage became a problem. We have cameras, like we definitely do have like professional cameras. The only problem is they're photograph cameras. They're not for videography. And so like we've been having problems with the cameras shutting off and stuff like that.
Record
and then
length.
We'll try to record like length, like
Yeah.
time. So we'll have to like switch in batteries, and we're doing like intermissions during the podcast, and it's just kind of getting messy. So we're trying to like just make it as clean cut as possible. And like Kevin said, we're trying to make the production the best that we possibly could, and we're trying to connect with you guys. Like we're trying to make it as user friendly as we possibly could. So we understand like sometimes, actually most of the time when people are listening to podcasts, it's probably at work or when you're driving, and so you're not really watching it on YouTube. So that's completely understandable. That's why we're trying to work with these platforms and get it so that you can just listen to it.
Yeah.
And you can go through your phone and you can multitask while playing the podcast, and that'll be better for us too. But that'll also help us connect with more people and do more damage here in the podcasting game. Bro.
I think it's best to have both. I mean, it makes you so
No doubt.
versatile. I
Yeah.
love to watch podcasts and I love to just listen to them.
Me
You
too.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it works, I think, best for everybody that way. That'll completely change the game on like the amount of people that are willing to tune into the content every week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? From all different angles. I think people will love that. My favorite platform to watch podcasts on is Spotify, just because of how user friendly
too.
it is. And I don't really use Spotify for music or anything like that.
Yeah.
So like
Personally, I just listen to podcasts. I mean, when I have like downtime, which is not often,
Yeah.
I'll watch them because I like to get that experience. Like I'm
Yeah.
almost in the room with the guys that
Yeah.
are talking, and I feel more invested in the conversation.
Yeah.
But it's not always that simple. So Like a lot of times I'm at work or a lot of times I'm driving and I'm listening to podcasts that way. It's more convenient, honestly.
Yeah,
so.
no, it definitely is far more convenient to just listen. The majority of the time only really watch podcasts, like if I'm laying down to like maybe go to sleep, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Turn a podcast on.
But yeah, we are trying to connect with these guys though, man. We got some people reaching out to us. We made a post an hour ago telling people to reach out to us with some questions that they had to talk about on the podcast. And shout out to Savion Sanders, bro. Shout out to my dog, Save Clutch. He connected us with the Ocean Man, who's going to be... oh,
really? That was him?
Yeah, it was him. Well, I reached out to a couple people. Like, I planted a couple seeds, but he was the one who really made it happen. Like, he was a real connection.
That's dope.
And he reached out to me. He was like, yeah, like, it's almost locked. And then we went to the warehouse. Crazy warehouse.
That's sick.
Yeah. What's cool, too, is with this camera, bro, we're going to be traveling and talking to people. And we're going to show, like, what they got. Like, we're going to show, like, their studio, their warehouses, their... whatever, like wherever they're at, whatever they're doing.
Yeah, we also
it's gonna be a different environment every time, so it'll be different, not just in one studio.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's kind of like it's like a travel game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we wanted to know what you guys thought about that because I think the travel podcasts are fun. We've done a few now. Funnily enough, we did the one that we did with Jose Rivera and Giovanni Martinez. We did inside of the NYO barbershop down here. Wasn't it Cary Ave, right?
That's Cary Ave. Yeah.
Yeah. So right down there on
that's
Cary
not
Ave.
Cary Ave.
I don't know. Maybe I'm bugging. I lived here my whole life, and I stood under the street.
Yeah.
But, we did it, in their barbershop, which I thought was dope. The environment was dope. They're very friendly, great people. We've known them for a long time. And they're big, like, they're in big touch with the city, too. Like, they really care. And we did it there in their home turf, showing off, like, what they got over there for them. And I honestly like it. I like it a lot. We have the stew, and then we have that. It's nice to switch it up sometimes. You know what I mean?
They are on Cary Ave.
It is Cary Ave?
604 Cary Ave. Go to NYO Barbershop.
Yeah.
Go get yourself a haircut, man.
Shout
Jose,
out
Giovanni, Lewis, they're all crazy barbers. Like, legit with it.
Yeah. But anybody that's showing mad love. Like, if they're willing to let us into their, place of work, their domain, like, whatever that may be, if they're willing to let us do that, that means a lot to us. I also wanted to touch on, though, in terms of what you were saying about Savion, that's also more love than anything, too. Like, in terms of, like, how we see it is like putting us on to other people that you think are like very entertaining. Like say like somebody out there from around the city or anybody for that matter that you would love to see us collab with, that you may have like a connect with or in some way, put them on, put us on. Like that's the best way to make this whole thing work. It's easier than just trying to find these people. Like talk about it. Talk about the podcast, we'll have them on. I think that'll be dope for whoever, if they know somebody too. You get to see the best of both worlds. You get to see us talk to these people that you might know, and it's great for us in terms of building bridges and connections. I think it's great.
Who reached out to you?
In terms of the questions?
Yeah.
I had a few people just ask, majority of
we
the
posted
people
it not too long ago, so we didn't give like too much time for people to reach out, so we only got like a couple people to reach out, but yeah.
Like an hour. The majority of the people were really just asking, I guess, like, because these are people I haven't heard from a while, like that Tyler kid or that Johnny kid that I went to school with.
All right, boy.
Shout out YouTube, by the way, Tyler and Johnny. But yeah, they were really just asking. I guess they were trying to touch in. Or Tyler was saying he really liked it, and Johnny was asking kind of like just what we talk about. Also, Tyler Yellen was asking about the sports. Like he liked the idea of maybe touching more into sports. We did a little bit with the Dame one, which was one of my favorite podcasts to do so far. But I think we could do it a lot more, especially because of like what that one meant. I think we could talk to a lot more athletes. That'd be a lot more fun. But a lot of people were really just asking. I was getting questions like where we are going, Lane.
Where are we going?
Yeah, that was actually, it was an old picture, dog. We were heading to actually NYO, like we were just talking about. We were packing up for the travel pods. But that's something you guys will probably be seeing a lot of. Like we'll probably be packing this setup soon until, we start getting a lot more funds and start buying just double equipment. You know what I mean? So we could have an in-person stew and just an on-the-road travel stew.
The away games. There's going to be a lot of away games. Those are going to be exciting too, man. We might travel out of state. We got an opportunity to possibly travel out of the country.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
Go to the UK.
Yeah.
And go talk to somebody there, an author of a book. Somebody sent me a book. Might connect with him and get him on the podcast. That would be dope.
Yeah, that'd be sick. And at the same time, guys, like that's amazing for us. Like we get to travel and see the world and just talk to people and like do what we love. That's amazing. Like I didn't think that would be like a possibility for me a year ago today. Like that at some point I'd be looking at the possibility of like traveling the world, doing what I love for like a job. It's amazing. But I hope that would still be a possibility. Traveling down to UK, that'd be fun. Obviously, once we take over PA. We're going to be reaching out to
we're gonna have,
states and
first
stuff.
of all, in terms of the podcast, then we got the city on lock.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, with the guests that we already have, bro, it's almost as good as Clip, bro. I'm telling you, it's gonna be crazy.
Yeah. Who else was gonna do it though, bro? Like we had the connections, we had the passion, like we had the drive, we had the heart to do it. You know what I mean? Like,
and we're connected, bro. Like we did the whole sport thing. We're working on the business thing. We've been working on like businesses for a while now.
And it's good. Like I guess you never really realized that being as antisocial as I used to be back in the day, and just like regarding the idea of like building connections and bridges with people. Ever since I started doing that, and I guess I met a lot of people playing sports. I met a lot of people going to school in this area, you know what I mean, working in this area. You meet a lot of people. But I'm just happy with who we are connected with now, because that's what I mean. Like, in terms of how I feel about it, that's more love than a like on a video, man. Like, anybody connecting us with somebody that's extremely sick, like somebody I would be seriously interested in talking to, it saves us the trouble of having to seek these people out ourselves. So it really helps out in that regard.
That's even fun, though. I like doing that.
Yeah.
They call me DT Menery for a reason.
DT Menery. You're really good at that. You be locking in the guests.
Yeah, no cap, bro.
You just be on there typing, sending the DMs.
On the prowl, brother.
Shit, yeah.
I got a lot of people that are willing to vouch for me and willing to put in a good word for me. So that's always good, man, to have some good people in your corner. Even the people who reached out, like, wanting to help with this podcast, like they just wanted to do it out of the kindness of their heart. And that's awesome, man.
There's a lot of people showing love in that regard, man. And I honestly didn't expect it. Like, I really didn't. I don't think we got to touch on this too much, because the first time we did a internal podcast like this, it was our first one ever. So we didn't really have a grasp on anything.
Very true.
So I don't know how much we've talked about it in podcasts after that with the guests that we've had on, but the love you guys have been showing, man, is incredible. Like, we're averaging like 300 views a video right now, which some people, man, is not a lot, but to me that means the world. When I was posting like streams a year ago today, I was getting like 10 views. I was getting like 5-10 views, and granted, like, that means a lot too, but like, to be able to go on our YouTube channel page and see that like every podcast we drop is consistently hitting 300 views, likes, comments, like people are interacting, we're getting subscribers every day, like that means so much to me. That means so much more than you guys will ever imagine.
No doubt. And it's free to show love. So even if you're just, scrolling past it and you see it, just share it. Yeah. If you see it, just share it. Show the love, man. We really appreciate that.
Seriously.
No doubt.
Just talking, like word of mouth. I truly think word of mouth advertisement is the best way.
Tell some people about the go-getters, man.
Yeah, man. You can have advertisements, like you can have digital advertisements, market that way. I think there's no better way to go besides word of mouth. It means more. To me, it does.
Yeah, no doubt.
If somebody tells me something, I'm more interested in checking it out than I am if I just see something online.
But if you want to keep hating, that's cool too.
Yeah.
Because sooner or later, we're going to be undeniable, bro. Trust. Because we're approaching this from an artistic perspective.
Yeah.
Like, Kevin and I have this idea. We've had these conversations. Like, we're approaching this from a perspective of a craft. Like, our guests are top tier. We're trying to have the best possible guests that we could. The coolest people, the most fun people, the most entertaining and informative people that we possibly can. And go look at our first podcast and look at it now. There's certainly a difference in the way that we're talking. Like, this is, and we're not perfect. We're not perfect. We're getting better, but this is a craft. We're looking at conversation as an art form. Keeping it interesting, keeping it entertaining. Yeah. Keeping it professional, but also kind of wild. Yeah. We're looking at this from a perspective of just trying to grow and be better and be better and be better. We're investing in this thing a whole lot. Yeah. Sharpening the iron literally every day. Like, we're up here, we're putting in like 2-3 hours a day for the most part. We maybe take a Saturday off, Sunday off, like, you know what I mean? But for the most part, every day, Monday through Friday, we're in the studio somehow getting some work done for you guys, trying to make sure that we provide the best podcast that we can for ourselves. It's an honor thing for ourselves too at this point. Like, I can't fail now, you know what I mean? No doubt. So it's all about, I'm too invested, I'm too far in, I'm too deep in, but I love it though. Like, I love the struggle of like running into these problems and solving it. Yeah. Like, think of all these big problems we just ran into over the last week or two that like we're basically crushing right now. Yeah. We have that camera on the way, brother. A week ago, that wasn't even a possibility. We didn't even know what we were going to do about that. We couldn't even consider getting more guests because we knew that we wanted to have the video podcast ready, because the type of guests that we're going to be having soon, like, it would be a disservice to our listeners to not have a video for it, and to not give that intimate feel for the actual conversation that we're about to have. And in terms of the one we already did and the one we plan on doing next week that were away games for us, like traveling to do it,
the first time we fucked up with the camera, and that almost like ruined the whole vibe for me and Darian in terms of like how we felt the video was supposed to turn out versus how it did.
Yeah.
We had really high hopes for that one because just with the video, like it comes a whole nother format of like what you guys get to, I guess, kind of be in touch with. But the next one that we have coming out, this guy's really dope. This should be next week. We'll probably lock it in. Or me and Darian were just talking earlier today, and that's why I mentioned it earlier. We may do a UFC podcast this Saturday. So, like, that would be a fun kind of episode for next Thursday. 2 little out of the blue, not your regular episodes. But the one after that we do, maybe even for the UFC one, the camera will be here, and we will be recording them. Because like he was saying, it's almost like we're doing certain people disservices by not having the camera. We've tried every single episode to record it. Just something goes wrong every time.
Yeah, we've been trying.
Yeah. Believe me, we're not millionaires out here, man. If I could own 3 MacBooks and a Mac desktop on my John, and I could just travel and edit and do all this work all day on state-of-the-art gear, we would be doing that. But it's all about the journey. You know what I mean?
We're also kind of caveman when it comes to like anything
That's
tech.
true.
So like when it comes to editing, having the right software, like we're still learning, fellas. We're still learning
every day. But we have a lot of dope people in our circle too. You guys seen last week we had on Walter Conahan.
Yeah, he's a beast.
Yeah, seriously, this kid is a beast. You guys, in terms of the people we know from around Wilkes-Barre, you guys might not know a lot about Walter because he's a little new to this area, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he is. He's not from here.
But yeah, man, he's great. All things technology, anything wrong with tech, that's the man to talk to, and that's not even his profession. He's a full-time entertainer on TikTok with like probably 700,000 followers at this point.
Yeah, he's
like,
reaching 700. I talked to him today.
I
don't know if he's quite there yet, but
yeah, well, he's right there.
Yeah.
If not, he's right there. So that's what he loves to do. His true passion is media as well. That's what he loves. The kid wants to be an actor. Kid's a savage. But in his meantime, while he could be spending all this extra time doing whatever it takes to make sure he's the most successful he can be, he's been donating so much of his time to us in terms of not even just as a member of the team, but as a friend. Like, this kid's really cool. And he's been sharing so much of his time with us, helping us out in all aspects behind the scenes possible. He even literally lent us a camera. It was one of the ones that we tried using. It ended up not working out too well. But it's a high production camera, especially in terms of photography. We'll probably use it for that. Yeah. Probably when we start pumping out merch or something, we'll be taking a lot more pictures and whatnot. But this kid's a baller, man. Like, he was a big help to us behind the scenes. You guys don't really get to see that. He's amazing. But yeah.
Try and link up those actions and the words. You know, but what? Let's talk about corporate nightmares. Why we picked that?
Oh yeah,
corporate nightmares. It kind of speaks for itself if you guys listen to the first episode.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I think we touched on that in the first episode.
Yeah,
tad bit. But yeah, we're gonna try to do. We had an idea that, you know, rather than just pumping out videos with, you know, killer guests every single week, which is still what we're gonna be trying to do for you guys. I think it's important that, you know, maybe every 5, 10, however many episodes we feel, you know what I mean? That we think we need to sit down and, you know, just kind of recuperate, talk to just, you know, our fans, you guys, rather than a guest, and, you know, get a good base for where we're sitting at right now, what's to come in the future, you know, reflect a little bit on the past, how we could do better. But yeah, man, corporate nightmares. I think we touched on it a little bit in the first episode. To us, one thing over here that means a lot to us and a lot of the people that we talk to on here and a lot of people that we plan to talk to on here is that idea of just succumbing to the day job life where you dread waking up to that alarm every day and going, which I know a lot of people got to fight through to make it to where they want to get, you know, in terms of being an entrepreneur, artistically or anything. You got to work. But I know I could probably speak for everybody when I say you don't want to be doing that until you're 80. Everybody out there, for the most part, got a dream that they want to achieve, and it all starts somewhere. That job really just is an excuse. And me and Darian still have one, you know. We're not, you know, just away from it yet, but we got money to make and we got a lot of time to grow. It's not like we're not trying to be in this for the long haul. We're still putting in a couple hours every day behind the scenes. Honestly, probably more than I spend at work doing this. Yeah. So to a degree, you know, I got to eat too, but until we can start profiting heavy off, you know, our internet presence and what can be done with that, I get it. I get why people need to work.
I think there has to be some utility towards it.
What do you mean?
I think, like, one's perspective towards one of these 9-to-5 gigs should be with the idea of using it and leveraging it to create something better for yourself.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
I agree.
I don't think you should just have the perspective that, and this is hard to say because it's easier said than done. Because some people have kids, some people have like things that are rooting them to responsibilities. But I think you should hold the perspective that, you know, you're using it to fund something else that's more fulfilling to you, something you're more passionate about, something that can give you more of an independent lifestyle.
Yeah.
So where you can go and do what you want. You can travel if that's always what you wanted to do. As a kid, I always thought to myself, like, there's no point of being able to see if you're going to see the same things every day. You should, you know, you should do what it is that you've always wanted to do.
Yeah.
You know, use that to fund whatever it is that you want to create. Find that vessel, find that creative outlet that you might have suppressed as a kid, and find your own voice. And, you know, it's just that if you're not in by 4, you're fired.
Yeah.
You know.
And we've all been there, man. We've all had those days where we just couldn't stand the idea of finishing that shift or going to that shift,
employees,
or anything like that. It was really just a joke me and Darian coined when, I don't know, I guess we started this podcast not too long ago, like when we started making the videos. It was just something that was funny to us. It was a play off Federal Nightmares. Yeah, but the song by Lil Durk. But
yes, sir.
Yeah, man, it's just a funny joke that we like to throw around in terms of like why we can't be doing that for the rest of our life. I know, just to me personally, I can't speak for him, but I know how he feels about it. Waking up and doing that every day, for me, it's almost worse than not even living at all. For me, it's not what I want to do in life. It brings me no happiness. It honestly just brings me anger. I can't do it. It's not for me. I want to do what I love, and I want to have the most amount of fun I can have in life. I know to some people that whole working attitude is the end all be all, but for me it's not, so I won't even hear it.
Yeah, it's a new generation, man.
Yeah.
It's a new generation. Like, I think
so many ways to get paid.
The older cats believe like working is an honorable thing.
Yeah.
And it is. I think it is. I don't think that you can have that like perspective, like where working isn't good. You know, like
working isn't good?
It's not good.
Yeah.
Like, there's a disciplinary aspect to it as well. Like, you know, learning how to deal with harsh people or miserable people, you know, and not allow their toxicity to infiltrate your mindset and your like headspace.
Yeah.
I think that's like one of the values and lessons that I've taken from some of the harder jobs that I've had to work, like lumber yards and like, what's it called? Landscaping jobs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Like, those jobs are tough. And even other jobs where you have like those associates who hate themselves and hate their lives, you know, or hate at least while they're there.
It's not a healthy environment. It's really not.
But I think there's like there's some value to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
you definitely learn a lot working.
It can benefit you a lot, but I think submitting to that and just like talking to yourself and accepting the fact that this is what I'm going to do for the next 40 years, and being bribed by a pension just so that you can pay your little bills.
Yeah.
You know, and just living that type of life, like, that's not what our definition of a go-getter is.
And I don't even know that I would necessarly want to do anything for 40 years. Like, I don't know if I'd want to do a podcast for 40 years. Maybe I'll be directing movies in 40 years. Like, who knows? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's like, I was always big in my childhood life when I first started working that I was never going to work a job really for like over a year. I would always move around because I never wanted to get too comfortable and too stable in one job. And I think that like that's important for anything. Even things that you love. Like, you can dedicate yourself to something that you love, but you got to even step away from that at some point. It happens to a lot of people. It comes a time where you got to retire. As like a UFC fighter, you got to retire. You know what I mean?
Things change.
Yeah, life changes. Life happens fast, and you got to be able to adapt and move on. Humans are known to adapt. So it's not far-fetched to think that you can easily adapt from that mindset that working is all you can do. Because I know a lot of brilliant people out here that just don't dedicate themselves like fully to their craft. And I think if they did, there'd be a lot of killers from this area. There'd be a lot of killers.
It's almost like they don't utilize their own intelligence.
Yeah. But I think a lot of people don't see it, and maybe a lot of people need to hear it. Like, maybe a lot of people just need to be told, like, man, whatever it is you're doing right now is amazing. Like, keep going. Keep the ball rolling. Get it out there. Put it on platforms. Whatever it is you're doing. Like, I don't think people hear that enough from other people. They don't get their roses enough. Yeah,
don't become bland, man. Like, there's personal needs that I think most people, especially in this area, don't have met. Like, I think everybody, like wants a sense of purpose.
Yeah.
And everybody wants like a value to their life. Everybody wants a sense of fulfillment.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they actually know what it is that'll give them that fulfillment or give them that sense of purpose.
Yeah.
You know, it's almost like they've become bland. I think I've experienced that.
Like ruts like that?
Yeah, like where I don't know in which direction I'm going.
Yeah.
Like I heard a quote, it was like, to the sailor with no direction, no wind is favorable.
Kind of like I hate those feelings, man, of just being stuck in a rut. I felt that way for a long time with the podcast. I'm sure you remember when we took 2-3 months off, like right around Christmas time, and just slacking, bullshitting, hating myself for not, giving it my all. Then, we finally got into it. But I think what you have to do is find a driving force, find a reason as to why you're doing what you're doing. And I think a reason is very easy to find. I think a reason that's bigger than yourself is very easy to find. If you have a family, do it for them. If you don't have a family and you hate working, or you have a lifestyle and a dream you want to achieve, do it for yourself. There's a lot of reasons and a lot of whys that you can come up with as to just get the ball rolling. That's what honestly took us the longest time, because we just wanted to perfect it. And I get that there's a lot of people like that out there, but I think specifically from what we've learned, if I could speak on it for both of us, in that process, I think there's no better time to start than now and just get that ball rolling. Whatever it is you want to do, if you want to start posting content tomorrow. It's going to be shitty. Go back and watch episode 1 and come back and watch this episode right now. Tell me this one's not way better. You're going to have shitty content. You're going to have shitty days. You're going to have shitty workouts. You're going to have shitty jobs that you work. Anything. You just got to keep doing it, keep getting consistently better, and just keep the ball rolling on whatever it is that you like doing. I think.
No doubt.
That's the key.
Yo, how would you define a go-getter, though? The opposite of that. Like, that's somebody who decided to submit to the 9-to-5 lifestyle, submit to not chasing their dreams, and just kind of live life. Yeah. A regular, average life, which is okay. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But as long as you're happy and content,
do whatever,
and you're excited about life. I think that's what should be.
That's big. Do whatever makes you happy. If you love life and you fucking work at Dunkin' Donuts, then you love life. Yeah. You probably love life more than some millionaires out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, not everybody has to be an entrepreneur.
No.
There's such thing as entrepreneurs who contribute from the inside of a company. Yeah. There's people who just want to do their thing and go home because they like to be a part of something.
They just want to sit on the porch and watch the sunrise and set. You know what I mean? There's people that they get happy doing things that regular people don't get happy doing. I know you talk about it all the time. You get such a blissfulness just by going on walks with Jack.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's why you don't really like alcohol or anything like that. You don't feel like you need it. You know what I mean? Yeah. You naturally find a happiness from just doing regular things that other people don't. So just from that, I guess, statement, you could see as to how some people could work at McDonald's and love life. Not saying that that's probably what's happening, but I don't think it's impossible.
I agree.
Know what I mean?
Yeah, you have to have a certain mindfulness about you, I think.
Yeah. Same thing with, I remember, I think we were talking about the college thing. Somebody had mentioned something about, I don't remember if it was the teacher or not that we were talking about, that was talking about our distastefulness for college, or who said it was. But my same logic behind working applies to that as well, if I can correct that now. I think that if you enjoy doing it and that's what's for you and you're happy and you're driven to do that, as long as you're driven and you're happy in doing anything, I think that's what it means to be a go-getter, personally. You know what I mean? If you're driven, you're happy, you have passion, you're loving life, you're loving the negative sides of it as well, the struggle. You got to love the hardships as well. You got to love the consistency, the dedication. You got to love putting time into something every day. And if you have all those things, to me, that's what it takes to be a go-getter.
Yeah, that's tough.
You know what I mean? And you could, like I said, to correct how I felt about the whole idea of going to college as well, I kind of mean that in the same way. If you like doing it and that's what's for you, by all fucking means, keep doing that, because that's what's for you.
You have to know your path.
Yeah.
You have to know which direction that you want to go in. You have to know what is beneficial to you and where you want to go.
We talked about that big with Walter too. You can't just listen to those voices that tell you something's not for you. I'm a big believer in the gut feeling. or like that feeling
There's
in your
something
heart,
to that, bro.
or like whatever, like the thoughts you get in your brain. When you're by yourself, most people, I'm not going to speak for everybody because not everybody's intelligent, but most people can make intelligent decisions. I guess just shit. Where was I going with that? Blank. Always happens once.
I read there's a book called The Four Agreements, and it's about like the daily wisdom in the Toltec tradition, which is like a Mexican. I think it was like a Mexican region.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was a Mexican village or something like that, but it was the Toltecs. And their four agreements of life were to be impeccable with your word, not to take things personally, always try your best, and never make assumptions. So those were like four things that they lived by.
Yeah, that's really cool. I remember we used to talk about that all the time.
One of the things in the Toltec wisdom, though, is the domestication process, where as we grow older and older and older and older, our authority figures, our parents, our teachers, our disciplinarians, whoever, they kind of teach us what life is, and teach us the walls of life and the boundaries of life. So like as a kid, our grandmother might tell us, eat all your vegetables, make sure every piece of rice on that plate is gone. And your belly might be full. Yeah. You know what I mean? But although it's with good intention, you're full. And it's probably not even that healthy for you to continue to push your own boundaries.
I know what you're saying.
So I think the moral of that is to remember that you have your own voice. Yeah. And through all of the noise and through all of the people in your life that are persuading you to go in certain directions, you have to know where it is that you want to go, and I think one of the points that they made in the Toltec tradition is sometimes when we think with the voices of other people. Yeah, I agree. I think a lot of people do that. Again, it's good, and it's probably most beneficial to find access to your own voice. Yeah, and
I realized too, man, that like most people that like didn't really listen, kind of like you were saying, I never really thought about it that way, but most people that didn't really listen too much to the authority figure when they were younger are the ones that I feel as though are doing the coolest things now. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because we were kind of like that. Luckily for me, like my parents weren't strict in any way, so I never really had like
me too
some strong authority. Like you needed to do this, you needed to do that. My parents kind of just left me open to like kind of be free with my choices and what I wanted to do. But I have great parents. You know what I mean? I can't talk down on that. But
we were grimy as kids, brother.
Grimy. We did crazy things. But I think in turn, though, like where I was going with that is I think that builds like a sense of kind of like you were saying, following your own path. Like you almost learn how to make decisions for yourself. A lot of people I don't think ever do. Yeah. A lot of people always need help with something, anything, a question. They need to ask somebody something, which is important. You could reach out to people. But I don't think, like if you were just somebody that followed all the rules as a kid, you didn't really learn a lot of things for yourself, which is kind of cool. I thought you said that because I never really thought about it that way until right now.
Yeah, it's very interesting, man. I like the concept of it. And even if you go into the four agreements, like how effective they really are. Yeah. Like to be impeccable with your word. One thing I was thinking about today while on my walk, I struggled with confidence. And obviously I still do. But I'm more confident in my life now than ever.
Me too.
Right? But I think one way to establish self-confidence is to keep your word with yourself. Feel what I'm saying? Yeah. So, like, if you say to yourself, I'm going to get up at 6 a.m. and I'm going to go to the gym. Yeah. Dude, you better get up at fucking 6 a.m. and go to the gym. Because if not, you're the only one that has to live with that. Yeah. There's no one else to point fingers. There's no one else to blame. There's no circumstances to blame. The rain ain't that bad, brother. You can still get there. And when you start to fulfill those promises, when you start to like do what it is that you promise yourself you're going to do, and then you see the results, you feel so good about yourself. You know you can rely on yourself. So that's impeccability with your word. Yeah. And that even goes into like in your regular life, like being disciplined with your speech. Like if you're saying something to somebody, mean it. Yeah. And know that your words will affect people. You know what I mean? So there's good things you could say, there's bad things you could say. Yeah. You could spit toxicity and it could really seep itself into somebody else's mind. But you could spread positivity, and as soon as you let those words go, you have to understand those people are going to interpret it in their own way.
Yeah.
So it's wise to be disciplined with your speech and to be mindful of what it is you're saying.
Yeah. Most people only look at it as like a looks thing in terms of being confident or just how you feel in your mind, I guess. But I feel as though being a good person, like kind of how you were just describing it, is one of the best ways I've found to build confidence for myself. Too, in terms along as like working out and stuff and like doing those hard workouts and
no
like
doubt.
sauna trips and stuff.
No
I
doubt.
think that builds a lot of character too. But shit, man, I don't know.
There's also I was looking into some stuff. There's specific traits to charismatic people, and one of those traits is to be able to make somebody feel like you are the only person in the room that they're talking to.
Yeah.
Like if it's me and you in a crowded room and I talk to you, it's like almost like I help you to feel like you're the only one in the room. You're the most important person in the room. I'm dialed in on what you're saying. And I also have a powerful posture about myself. Like I hold myself in a confident way. You know, there's interesting things that make people seem and appear confident and appear charismatic that I think are very interesting as well.
That's dope, man. That's cool. I don't know. That's one of those things I struggled with for a very long time when I was younger. But I feel like in just doing those things like I was explaining, or like dedicating yourself to something, doing like this podcast brings me so much confidence. You know what I mean?
No doubt.
Because speaking and like talking to people and the anxieties that come with that is something I've always struggled with in life. And I think we touched on that in the first episode too. But to be able to say that like I do a podcast like as my dream now, like that's what it is that I'm doing and I love doing it. Like talking to new people, talking to people I know, but just having dope conversations with anybody. It's amazing that that's for me now. I would have never guessed that this is what I would have been doing. Man.
It's crazy.
I was so antisocial when I was younger. I had no confidence, you know what I mean? I didn't like talking to people. But I mean, I guess like it takes work to change that. And I never thought that I would come this far with it. But I guess that's just the testament to like what you got to do to make that happen. You just got to work at it. You got to do what we're doing.
Yeah, man. Nah, I think it's cool, bro, because think about this. Like, all right, so dig. I know we've had this conversation before, but so check this out. So you look anywhere in the world, right?
Yeah.
And you see skyscrapers and you see these automobiles and you see planes and you see iPhones. You see all this advanced technology. You see all of this advanced architecture, right? And you have to think that at one point that was in somebody else's mind.
Yeah, it was just an idea.
Like, that was just an idea. And
any product you see.
I think that idea really like shines light on the power that human beings really do have.
That's true.
And I think I heard this term once by a mentor of mine, Larry Del Grotto, who guided me through some real estate practices. He told me to be a conscious creator. Like, consciously create your reality. Consciously create everything around you. And just like last week, I was thinking about that, and I'm like, man, you could create exactly the life that you envision for yourself and manifest that for you, for the people that you love. You could even change communities. You could change the world. Like Alexander the Great conquered the known world by 32 years old. I might be wrong about that, but I think it's 32 years old.
That's crazy if it is true.
Like,
that's like a proven fact. The whole world.
That's a vision. Parts of the world. He called the places that he conquered Alexandria.
Yeah.
Alexander of Macedonia. I love Alexander the Great. I think it's really cool. But
that's dope, man.
If you think about it, like, you could create anything that you want just by thinking and like deliberately putting in steps to make things reality. I think that's really cool.
Yeah. I just saw a thing. It was like NLE Chopper or some shit the other day. Tweeted. He said, "If it come fast, it ain't gonna last." Yeah. I think that kind of, I don't know. It kind of set into me to kind of how I feel about this, because nothing happens overnight. Like, nothing does. And buying everything we had to buy for this cast, getting as good as we've gotten only in a few months, you know what I mean? None of that came overnight. Yeah. Nothing that we have planned in the future came overnight. You're not going to be really good at anything the first day that you do it. And if you are, like I was saying earlier, it's probably not going to last. You're probably not going to be as dedicated. You're not going to be driven to get better. I think the drive to get better at something is what makes elite people at whatever it is.
I agree.
If you're just naturally a killer at basketball, you might not try as hard. You know what I mean? You might not give it your all. You could, I mean, you still might be the best player you know or the best player in your area, but you're not going to be the best you that you can be if you're just naturally amazing at something.
Yeah, man. And that's crazy. It's really crazy. Because if you just put your time in and you just put some effort into growing and building something, you could build something in every facet of your life. Dude, I got this property.
Yeah.
I got this podcast. You know, you can apply that to fitness. Like, how do you want your body to look?
And about a year ago, like, this was the shit you were envisioning.
No doubt.
It was just about taking those little, and bro, we used to talk about it back then too, but it was like that 1 degree change in like the direction of a ship.
Yeah.
Over, I forget how it goes, but you know what I mean? Like how far the 2 different paths those ships will take. Just 1 degree off pattern every day. You could change something super small in your life. It could be the tiniest thing, a little personality trait that you don't like, a little thing, like a little word you want to stop using, a little anything. You can get better at it. But day by day, you got to get that ball rolling. You got to start somewhere like we touched on earlier, and you got to be consistent with it. You got to know that it's something you want to get better at. You got to have passion and the drive to do it, and you got to just fucking do it. Stop making the excuses. We did it for so long.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's still excuses we make. There's still excuses people make every day. But that's not getting you nowhere. It's really not. It got us nowhere. It prolonged everything. We could have been on like episode 50 by now if we started when we actually wanted to. You know what I mean?
At some point, you're not so much a consumer anymore.
Yeah.
You know? As you start to create your own stuff.
I don't know. I think that's... I wouldn't say necessarily it strengthened it more than it was, but it almost reignited my love for watching other people's content too. Not gonna lie.
Yo, I think Alexander might have conquered. I think he might have done it at 25 years old, but I don't know how much of the world
25.
he was very young. I don't know.
My thing though, at that time, how do you even become like a conqueror at that age? Like, who respects you at the age of 25?
All right, so I don't know too much about Alexander yet, but I will. Like, I have like biographies that I'm going to read about him. But what I do know is that his dad, I believe, was a military general.
His dad probably passed or something.
Right.
The power went to him.
And I think that's what happened. I think his dad passed away, but I know. I just watched you click that.
Oh shit!
I
thought it was. I thought it like a fly buzzed by my ear or something.
No. And I know that his dad, when he was alive, had him study under. I think it was Aristotle.
Really?
I think
that's cool.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Alexander the Great studied under. Man, let me. I gotta fact check myself because I don't want to sound like a goofy on here.
No, but you know one field I really want to dive into more in the future though, like upcoming. Especially because of the podcast and like what I think it'll.
It was Aristotle.
It was? That's so cool, man.
So
like they're from the same time, or he just?
No, wow. Aristotle was his mentor.
That's crazy.
And Alexander the Great was like, I think 12 years old or something like that. And he taught him like philosophy and civilization and logic.
Was Alexander I mean, I'm sure he was, but was Alexander the Great like known to be like a brutal, like one of those guys, kind of?
Yeah, I think
he was a conqueror, right?
I think he was. Yeah, but I don't know the true story, though, dog. Once I do figure it out, I'm going to have some cool stories for this podcast.
We were talking about it the other day, though. Like, does anybody really know? Like, can you really know what happened? Like,
that's
like
a good
detail
point.
by detail
that's all
from
thing,
those
That's
times?
all thing historical. When it comes to Alexander the Great, there's little that's known. Like, they don't know how he died.
Yeah.
They don't know really. I don't know. I don't know what they do and don't know. I know a lot of it's up for interpretation. Like, some people believe that Alexander the Great was half human, half god. Like, that was a lot of the rumors.
That's crazy.
You know?
I mean, to be a conqueror like that, to be that man of the world, it's almost like you kind of are in a way. Like, what does it take to make one of those people?
Well, I know the beginning of Genghis Khan's story was his tribe. They were almost like abused by another tribe. And so people would come and like capture people from their tribe, and they would basically just bully the other tribe. So Genghis Khan, I believe, rallied some guys up and started like his own militia.
Yeah.
And as he continued to dominate like other militias and other small groups, he would recruit their military, And I think he would teach them certain practices and stuff like that, and they just grew larger and larger and larger, and then they began to just conquer city-states and all that stuff. But like I said, I'm not too knowledgeable on that stuff yet. So when I am,
the little things we fight about today, man. Like imagine if people were still running around on horseback, just slicing each other's heads off.
Yeah,
and shit, you know what I mean?
That's true.
By spear and shit. Like,
we might not be too far from it, what's going on in the world today.
Yo, you know what's funny, bro? I just had a thought the other day. Like, you don't ever hear about it anymore, but I mean, obviously it probably is. But the war in Ukraine's still going on, right?
I think so.
I haven't heard about that in like a month. Literally like a month. I haven't heard a thing about it. Probably, I mean, I guess since I really stopped going to Planet Fitness, but
yeah, with all the news, TVs.
Yeah, but I don't know. That's a weird one, man.
This is being recorded on the 27th of June.
Yeah, man. So that's kind of like a weird one. Like it's the shit that man.
What did Alex Zaffron ask you? Shout out to Alex Zaffron too.
Shout out.
A true economist.
He wanted to know what we thought about. Well, he said, "Is money real?" And I thought, like, for me, it was pretty vague. I didn't really get what he meant by that at first. But go ahead, I'll let you take that away because you explained it to me pretty well. At least what you thought, how you thought you interpreted it. I guess I could kind of just go from there.
I don't have an answer for that question. I don't know. I don't have a belief. But what I think he meant was, is the concept of money real? Like, not the concept. Like, obviously, you can hold a dollar. Obviously, you could exchange our money for goods and services. But I think his idea was how money is something that's man-made. And so we created this value system.
Yeah.
Where if you have more of this, you're highly regarded. You know, you're more powerful. You're more considered if you have wealth, and with wealth comes power.
Yeah.
If you can accumulate more money than the next person, there's power. And the Federal Reserve, I think he's interested in that stuff. I know Alec is really interested in like at the Federal Reserve I think it's the Federal Reserve, how they can just pump out money to assist us in like economic troubles and stuff like that. So is it real? Like the idea that we could just make money, that we could just print it out of thin air.
I guess like the only
and
way
there's no value to money now.
Yeah.
Like there was a gold standard. Do you know about the gold standard?
I do, but vaguely.
I think it was ended in 1972.
Was that when money used to go off the price of gold?
Yeah, money was backed on gold.
Yeah.
Like the value of the U.S. dollar was backed on the value of gold, and that's no longer a thing.
That's what I was gonna say about like bills specifically. Is like they're all printed like 1s, 5s, 10s, 20s, 50s, 100s.
Yeah.
But they can lose or gain value.
So, but it's crazy because they don't like the value is not associated with anything, and like we just universally in the United States we universally agree of the value of something. Like how much value something has.
I think Brian made a good point about it the other day, though, that I think he said if we abandoned the idea of like paying people for goods, we would just go back to like the bartering system where like you trade goods or services to get by. And I think that would just take us back to an extremely barbaric society.
Yeah.
Definitely more barbaric than it is now. Like you could definitely make a lot of arguments that like really wealthy people do really crazy things. If you have a lot of money, like the possibilities are endless. But I think if you get rid of what money is or like what it means, like the idea of a currency, because it's everywhere basically in the world, I think it'll become very barbaric again.
I don't think you can abandon the idea of having a currency system. I think that'd be a problem.
I don't think.
But maybe I know, and see, I'm not too economically well versed.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure the pros and cons of, having our money backed by something of value like gold or silver or something.
What about one day, which I think will happen in the foreseeable future, that like money's digital. Money's just all digital in terms of like maybe crypto, banking, anything. You know what I mean? Just like digital money. At that point, is it just value on a screen? Like, is it real at that point? I guess it's still real. It's still there. It's almost like you're playing a video game.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But I mean, we basically are playing a video game.
1971, the gold standard was abolished, not 1972.
Oh man, that's not that long ago. It's only 50 years ago.
It's not, and I don't know the actual reason that they removed it. I don't know what reason they had for doing that. But is money real? I'm gonna say like I'm gonna say yeah. I think so.
I'll say yeah.
I don't know though. I'd have to actually think about it and do some research.
I think especially like for our country too, like is ran on the idea of like wealth, like money.
Yeah.
Like the American way is the way I see it. I think the way it looks is like money. It's big business. It's you have a chance to make it here. I think that's what it is. I think
that's like the American dream.
Yeah.
You come to America and you could, you have an opportunity to build something for you and your family. You guys can live freely.
Yeah.
I think money is largely associated with that. Not just like for your civil rights or your human rights, but.
Yeah. But I think to that degree, then money would be real. I mean, it's real, obviously.
The value of it.
That's where it gets shaky, because that's what I mean. Like in the terms of like.
Like, what if we all were just like, meh? Like, what if everybody was just like, meh?
And
I don't want to pay this for that. I don't think that's worth that.
Well, I was just talking about that with somebody the other day too. I think it was me and you. Like, at what price would gas have to hit that you would just stop paying for it?
Bro, what was I saw something. I think I was showing you this a while ago, where if a bunch of people bought silver, like there's ways for large amounts of people to manipulate like currency markets or value markets, I suppose.
It'd be like
something like this kind of happened with GameStop, right?
It'd be like a pump and dump. That's what I was gonna say. It's like a pump and dump in terms of stock trading and stuff. I would assume it's the same like.
So in
concept.
some way, we can manipulate the value of like certain.
Yeah. Well,
things.
Buying something up drives the price of it. Everybody buys.
Is that just a simple like supply and
out.
demand thing? You think? Like if there's not a lot of something left, then the value of it is higher.
I would think so. Yeah. Once something is more finite, I think it holds a higher value. Like say in terms of Bitcoin, it's the most finite cryptocurrency I believe that exists, and it also holds the most value.
Is there a lot of Bitcoin?
I mean,
compared to other crypto?
There's a lot. Like obviously, a lot of people in the world own Bitcoin. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But actually, maybe I could look it up. Like how
like
much Bitcoin is like in the world total.
How many Bitcoins are there?
I know.
Is that a real question?
I know it's finite though. Like I know you can run out.
Oh, for sure. That's how like all of them are. I'm pretty sure.
I don't know. This might be dumb because I'm like a big investor in Ethereum, but I don't think Ethereum works that way.
But isn't that how inflation works though? Like the Federal Reserves just print out more money, and so money is now less valuable. Like, is there a finite amount of money in the world?
That's
U.S.
why.
dollars?
I mean, if you made more Bitcoin, which can't happen because the person that invented Bitcoin's dead, they don't even really know how it works. That's why you can't like hack it or anything.
That's freaky, bro.
Honestly, I don't know. I feel like that shit was like put there by somebody for that reason.
Think so?
Like, yeah, they might still be alive. Who knows? But
we don't know who it is, right?
That's like why it can't really be recreated, is because it was made and now like the creator is nowhere to be found. There's no more Bitcoin.
That's weird.
You know what I mean?
That seems like somebody knows something.
Yeah, I agree.
Don't you think? It seems like somebody's up to something. There's no way, with the amount of intelligence that we have, we just don't know who made Bitcoin.
Yeah. The total Bitcoins in existence is 19,078,581.25.
And so the person who created Bitcoin decided that?
What do you mean?
Like he was like, I'm going to make this many Bitcoin.
I honestly don't know. I would have to assume.
Dude,
but,
how cool would it be to get like a crypto expert on here or
look,
like an economist of some sort?
That would
like
be,
Peter Schiff, I think is how you pronounce it.
That would be dope, bro. But check this out because this is more mind-blowing. It says Bitcoin left to be mined 1.9 million. Percent of Bitcoin issued 90.8%.
So they purposely left Bitcoin like unavailable to be mined?
That means at some point, like fairly soon, we'll probably run out of Bitcoin. It's already at 90%. I mean, I don't know how fast that number moves. Like, I don't know how, like, but you're already in the final 10%. You know what I mean? There's only
Bitcoin left in the world.
Yeah, there's only about 9% of Bitcoin left in the entire world to still be bought or mined.
And some of it's lost.
Well, just mined because, some of it is just lost. That's a good point. But, I mean, when you buy Bitcoin, you're buying and selling. Somebody has to sell their Bitcoin for you to buy the Bitcoin, so that's not being mined. That's just how much is left to be mined.
Is Bitcoin real?
Oh, new Bitcoin per day, 900. So, I mean, I'm not going to do the math on that, but if you do 900 new Bitcoins per day.
What does that mean? There's 900 new
Bitcoins mined per day.
Oh, mined. Okay.
So, at some point, 900 every day will add up to 1.9 million, and then it'll be over.
And then there's just no more
Then
available
the price
Bitcoin.
of it will probably be high as fuck, and if you own Bitcoin at that point, you'll probably be, like, lit. You'll probably be in a good spot.
They're already in a good spot, brother.
I should probably start buying more Bitcoin.
You have Bitcoin?
A little bit.
Do you?
Yeah.
How the stock looking, buddy?
Not good.
Not
brother.
good?
A little shaky these days. Yeah. What?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what happens, man. Like, just look at the world. I mean, we had the whole vid thing 2 years ago, and the whole everything going on right now. It fucks up an economy. You know what I mean? It's just
I got to learn more about that, too. I'm going to read more books on that stuff, too.
I don't know. Like, believe me, I don't know enough about it either. I'm a 20-year-old kid who just got into it, like, about 3 years ago. But,
I took an economics class one time. Shout out to Professor Wayne Wolf. We took...
at King's?
Yeah.
That's cool.
We took macroeconomics. That was pretty interesting. It was like understanding and analyzing global economics.
What do you think is the coolest thing you learned, if you remember anything?
That economics is a science. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it happens on its own, and we study it. We don't really...
It's not like numbers and statistics.
It certainly is numbers and statistics, but
it's like human nature. And
but yeah,
you're
you're studying like patterns, and you're trying to make like it's almost like the weather. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's not so predictable. Yeah. It is to an extent, but a lot of it's based on human nature, and a lot of it's based on supply and demand, and there's a lot of contributing factors to creating an economy.
Yeah. And what just like you can't predict 5 years ago, like how the world would be right now. You know
well,
what I mean?
There's people who could accurately, like, guess what might happen. Like, there's certain people that pride themselves on being able to foresee the 2008 recession. Like, they knew that the real estate market was going to bust.
Well,
and they saw specific, like, things that showed them that this was going to happen, and they saw it. And there's certain people today that are claiming that we're going to go into another recession.
Think it's possible, but I also think that there was a lot of signs now too, which is something I didn't realize when I said that before. Is that there was a lot of things that did happen that were clear reasons as to why we could go into a recession in the years following, like what happened 2 years ago, and now, like
that'd be interesting.
From
the world might be a crazy place pretty soon, brother.
Well, yeah, bro.
There's a lot of crazy stuff going on.
I hear on like Rogan all the time. He always says it, and I think it's pretty cool. It's like picture the world 10 years ago. 2012, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
we were 12, 11 years old. Yeah.
Did you think the world would be how the world is 10 years ago or 10 years later today? Like what's going on in the world?
I wasn't wise enough to think about that.
I mean,
stuff.
yeah, that's true. Young. But like just think of the advancements. I believe the first iPhone came out in 2007. You know what I mean? That's a little above 10 years ago. Like what do you think the world will look like in 10 years is what I'm getting at.
That's a great question, brother.
Like, bro, the iPhone 30 will be out,
or we might go backwards. Like we might,
that's true
we might stay completely stagnant because of some things that are going on in the world. We might go into a war, brother.
If Ukraine get dicey, it might get a little scary over here in the United States.
They're gonna be calling DT to the draft.
That
brother.
was sick, bro. I would hate to have to live through a war. I mean, we're living through a war right now. You live through wars all the time, but like
how about on American soil, though?
I don't think it would ever happen.
I don't know, man.
I don't know. Like I said, I say that all the time. I'm not knowledgeable in that field either, but the one faith I have in our country is the ability to defend itself from attackers. I don't think anybody's more suited to. I mean, I don't know. That's like an American thing to say.
True.
I think it's true.
No. There's other militaries that are certainly up to par with the U.S.
I mean, but we're known to have the best military in the world. We put the most funding into our military in the entire world.
I'm pretty sure that Russia has the most nukes.
Yeah, they do. We're second. China has more soldiers too.
And yes, because they're more populated, right? And I think like their government requires like men to be enlisted for at least 2 years or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it's just
what are the China military requirements?
Can you even figure that out?
Sure. I know Berlin was going to live in South Korea. This is obviously different from China, different types of government. But in South Korea, it's mandatory for men to serve for at least 2 years.
That's wild.
It doesn't have to be on the front lines with the big old chopper in your hands, but
I mean it's hard to fight anybody on their home turf though. You know what I mean? Like if you're going to somebody, you have, I think, the better chance of losing. You have the better chance of losing that battle.
So this says conscription of males aged 18 to 22 for 24 months service is legal but has never been needed.
They probably just have enough people. Yeah, man. China's a crazy place. They have a lot of people. They have over 1 billion.
Okay,
right?
so this says all citizens of the People's Republic of China, regardless of ethnic status, race, occupation, family background, religious belief, and education, have the obligation to perform military service according to the provisions of this law.
So I guess you do then. So what's the truth? Got two different answers.
What's the truth?
I mean,
Corporate
I guess
nightmares.
Either way, yeah, corporate nightmares, man. It gets
Corporate
crazy
nightmares
out there in the world.
Darian, you're late once again. One more time, and you're fired.
You're fired.
You're out of here, bucko.
That's funny as hell, man.
I want to put myself in a position where I'm recession proof.
It's a good point,
Have
man.
a whole ton of investments, have a whole ton of land, have a whole ton of columns that keep me afloat amidst these crazy times. And I think you guys should too. I think you guys should verse yourself in financial literacy.
Yeah, it's a good point.
I think I should do more too instead of just talking all this shit. I should probably, open
Dive
the old
more
laptop,
into it, yeah.
dial back in, brother.
I mean, man, we're doing nice with the minds. We just gotta continue, stay focused, stay motivated,
Stay
just
sharp.
stay on track.
Continue to grow this thing.
Been doing really good, man. Having a lot of fun.
No
Having
doubt.
a lot of fun with this. Having a lot of fun with the guests too. We also want to know what you guys have been thinking. Give us some feedback. Let us know how you thought about episodes 1 through, this is going to be 7, I believe. Corporate Nightmares episode 1, actually. I'm bugging. This is Corporate Nightmares episode 1. So episode 7 will be next week. But it's basically episode 7 of the podcast. We're doing something a little different. We'll have more of these, like I was saying earlier, probably every 5 or so episodes. We'll just see how we feel. And just touch base with you guys, show the love, feel the love, have a good time.
Corporate nightmares.
Corporate Nightmares, brother. We love you guys. I guess that'll do it for now. See you next week.
Make sure to share, subscribe, show some love, reach out, give us some constructive feedback.
Let us know who you want to see next. Slide up, hit us up, mention us on the story, promote us. We love the city, man, and we love y'all. So we're going to keep doing what we do, and we're going to get better every day.
Peace.